Welcome everyone to the channel, Insane Criminal Cases. We will tell you about the shocking criminal cases in the world. The topic of today's video will definitely interest you. Now let's find out. Cheng Kejie, once one of China's most powerful officials. The story is ambition, betrayal, and the ultimate downfall of a man who succumbed to greed. His career trajectory from a promising political leader in Guangxi Province to his meteoric rise as vice chairman of the National People's Congress, NPC, symbolized the opportunities afforded by China's reform era. Yet, his fall from grace in 2000, marked by his conviction and execution for corruption, underscored the vulnerabilities in a system rife with abuse of power. This is one of the cases that has shaken China for a long time because the nature and level of Cheng Kejie's crimes were extremely serious. The time to set up a special case, investigate, try and execute him was also a record-breaking time. His case serves as a critical example of how unchecked ambition and systemic weaknesses can lead to devastating consequences for both individuals and institutions. Cheng Kejie was born in 1933 in Yulin, Guangxi Province, into a modest family. Like many of his generation, Cheng was deeply influenced by the social and political upheavals of mid-20th century China. Joining the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, as a young man, Cheng initially pursued a career in local governance, where he quickly demonstrated an aptitude for leadership. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Cheng rose through the ranks of Guangxi's provincial administration. His tenure as mayor of Nanneng, the provincial capital, cemented his reputation as a pragmatic leader who prioritized economic development. During this period, China was undergoing profound economic reforms under Deng Xiaoping, and Cheng aligned himself with policies that encouraged growth and modernization. By the early 1990s, Cheng had become a prominent figure in Guangxi's political landscape. His charisma and strategic acumen earned him the post of chairman of Guangxi's People's Congress. Under his leadership, Guangxi saw significant investment in infrastructure and industrial projects, boosting the region's profile on the national stage. In 1998, Cheng was appointed vice chairman of the NPC, one of China's most prestigious political roles. This position made him one of the top-ranking officials in the country and granted him direct influence over national legislative matters. However, it was during this period that his corrupt practices began to come to light. Tarnishing his legacy, Cheng Kejie's corruption scandal was centered on his tenure as a senior official in Guangxi Province. Investigations revealed that Cheng had accepted bribes amounting to nearly 40 million yuan, approximately $4.8 million at the time. These bribes were primarily linked to real estate transactions and infrastructure projects, where Cheng abused his power to benefit specific developers and businesses. Cheng's corruption was intricately tied to his relationship with Li Ping, a businesswoman with a keen understanding of financial operations. Li Ping became both a confidant and a co-conspirator, using her network to solicit and manage bribes on Cheng's behalf. Their partnership was emblematic of how personal relationships could amplify corruption. Li Ping facilitated deals by acting as an intermediary between Cheng and business interests. Her role was crucial in laundering money through complex financial transactions, obscuring the illicit origins of their wealth. Together, they formed a symbiotic relationship that exploited Cheng's political influence for personal enrichment. The real estate sector was at the heart of Cheng's corruption. As Guangxi experienced rapid urbanization, the value of land soared, creating opportunities for lucrative deals. Developers seeking favorable terms for land leases, zoning changes, or construction permits often turned to Cheng. In exchange for bribes, Cheng ensured that these deals were approved, bypassing standard regulatory processes. For example, one investigation revealed how a prominent developer paid millions of yuan to secure a prime piece of land in Nanneng. Cheng's direct intervention ensured that the developer received the land at a significantly reduced price, resulting in substantial profits for the company and a hefty kickback for Cheng and Li Ping. The cost of corruption. Cheng's corruption had far-reaching consequences. Beyond the immediate financial losses to the state, his actions undermined public trust in government institutions. The prioritization of personal gain over public welfare led to substandard infrastructure projects, inflated costs, and a growing sense of disillusionment among citizens. By the late 1990s, Whispers of Cheng's corruption had reached the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, CCDI, the CCP's primary anti-corruption body. Under President Jiang Zemin, the Chinese government had launched a major anti-corruption campaign aimed at curbing graft within the party. The CCDI's investigation into Cheng's activities uncovered a trove of incriminating evidence. Financial records traced millions of yuan to Cheng's accounts, often funneled through intermediaries connected to Li Ping. Testimonies from business executives, party officials, and whistleblowers further corroborated the allegations. Investigators also found evidence of lavish spending by Cheng and Li Ping, including luxury properties, expensive jewelry, and overseas bank accounts. This extravagant lifestyle stood in stark contrast to the modest salaries of public officials, raising red flags that ultimately sealed Cheng. Arrest and trial. In 2000, Cheng was formally arrested and charged with bribery and abuse of power. His trial was swift, reflecting the CCP's determination to make an example of him. In court, Cheng admitted to his crimes, expressing regret and apologizing for his actions. However, his cooperation did little to mitigate his sentence. In September 2000, Cheng was convicted and sentenced to death. The punishment, though severe, was consistent with China's zero-tolerance policy on high-level corruption at the time. Li Ping also faced legal consequences, receiving a lengthy prison sentence for her role in the scandal. He had 2 sons, but one was executed by the police for resisting arrest, and the other was a serious drug addict. Too miserable because of his children, and sad because of his womanizing husband, the wife of the Tan official fell into depression and then committed suicide by hanging herself. The scandal highlighted the need for stronger institutional safeguards to prevent corruption. In subsequent years, China introduced reforms aimed at increasing transparency, such as requiring officials to disclose their assets and strengthening the role of watchdog agencies like the CCDI. Public perception. Cheng's conviction reassured some citizens that the government was serious about tackling corruption. However, it also underscored the scale of the problem, fueling skepticism about the CCP's ability to root out graft comprehensively. A warning to officials. The harsh punishment meted out to Cheng sent a clear message to other officials: no one was above the law. His case became a pivotal moment in China's anti-corruption narrative, reinforcing the risks of engaging in illicit activities. The story of Cheng Kejie is a sobering reminder of how unchecked power and greed can corrupt even the most promising leaders. His downfall, though deeply personal, reflected systemic challenges within Chinese governance. While his conviction marked a victory for anti-corruption advocates, it also highlighted the need for deeper reforms to address the root causes of corruption. As China continues its journey toward greater transparency and accountability, Cheng's legacy remains a cautionary tale, one that underscores the importance of integrity, vigilance, and institutional strength in the pursuit of good governance. Thank you for watching our video. Insane Criminal Cases. Chanel hopes you have had great entertainment moments. Wish you all the best.